Daniel Jeremiah is on the phone right now at Move the Sticks. We'll talk some college with you, but I want to hit you first, DJ. What is the scouting community saying about Peyton Manning right now?
Well, I mean, everything's been kind of the same in terms of, I think everybody's focusing on arm strength, and everybody that I talked to, and in my own personal opinion, was, well, I just don't know how much of a fit he is for what Gary Kubiak traditionally does, and more so than the arm strength. That wasn't really the issue. And then the touch, just some touch that was missing on the deep ball, and that wasn't arm strength related. Maybe it's because he doesn't have, feeling in his fingertips. Could be part of that. But I thought last night, Phil Simms did a good job of pointing out the fact that you get him in the shotgun and you give him some room to climb up in the pocket. As he's gotten older, and especially since the neck injury, he throws with his lower half. That's where he gets all of his power from. It's all from his legs. And when he had some time in there to be able to be in the shotgun and to climb up in the pocket, not worried about moving backwards, actually moving forwards, you saw him get enough velocity on the football.
Well, Kubiak's a smart guy, and he's got to know that's his buddy up in the owner's suite, right, or the president's suite that's up there, and know that he's got his backing up there. So why can't they figure out some form of a hybrid, or just let Peyton do his thing until he rides off into the sunset, and then Kubiak could do his thing with whoever's after that, right?
I mean, that seems like the smart thing. I mean, we can't act like Peyton didn't have any success doing it his way. I mean, you say, okay, well, they didn't win the ultimate prize, in the Super Bowl. They get blown out by Seattle. But man, if Raheem Moore doesn't have his big goof against the Ravens, they're in the championship game that year. A Super Bowl appearance. I mean, they've had a lot of success doing it Peyton's way. And somebody said on Twitter, which I thought was kind of ironic, was last night that, okay, you've got Peyton Manning, who spent a decade in the same division with Gary Kubiak's Houston team that he pounded each and every single time, and now you're asking Peyton Manning to change what he does to run Kubiak's offense. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and you got to think 18's not going to stand for that, but he's got to, figure out how to make best of whatever time he feels he has remaining in the NFL. Do you think, Daniel, based on some of the scuttlebutt that you're hearing also, that there is some form of a friction between him and Kubiak to figure out what the middle ground might be for all of this moving forward?
Well, I've heard, the rumors that you hear when you talk to people inside the league was that the friction was actually between Peyton and Elway. Those are the rumors that go around, and because of, start with the pay cut and then bringing in a coach and a system that obviously Elway was a fan of that didn't perfectly match Peyton. So that's the stuff that the little under the radar stuff you hear talking to people around the league. Oh, I don't know how great the relationship is between Peyton and Elway, much more so than you hear about Peyton and Kubiak.
And with the eye in the sky with Alex Smith, I mean, the guy can throw it 20 yards down the field, right? I mean, he can do it. His arm allows him to do it. There is no rule in the playbook that says you can't take more than one such shot down the field. Why is the offense the way it is in Kansas City, Daniel?
Well, I mean, you give up 5 sacks, so protection was a little bit of an issue going up against that front.
Sure.
I thought they were a much different looking offense when they went up against Houston. Another team had a good front, but I thought they were a little more aggressive. I think sometimes we beat into these quarterbacks so much. Don't lose the game, protect the football. You take a little bit of their stinger away, and they have to find a way with Alex Smith to stretch the field and to get some chunk plays. It's too hard to put together 12 and 15 play drives in this league. You just can't do it without getting off schedule with a penalty or a turnover or a sack. There's just too much that can go wrong. You've got to get some chunk plays.
Daniel Jeremiah joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show, NFL Network, former NFL scout at Move the Sticks on Twitter. So what would you peg as the marquee game in college football this weekend? You got number 2 Alabama against Ole Miss. That's where Reese Davis and the gang is going to be on Saturday. Then you got Auburn, LSU, Georgia Tech, Notre Dame. You got BYU and UCLA, 2 top 20 teams. Which one's jumping out at you, DJ?
Well, there's a bunch. I mean, in terms of, scouting guys for the next level, Ole Miss, Alabama is just littered with NFL players. I mean, Alabama's front 7 is fantastic. Unfortunately, it looks like Ole Miss, their left tackle, Laramie Tunsil, still not going to play. He's, with some NCAA issues there, but he's the best left tackle in all of college football. So I would have liked to have seen him. But they still have Kim Dichie, a defensive tackle that's a first-round type player. You've got Treadwell, a wide receiver that's big time. So that's going to be a marquee game for NFL folks to watch. And then one that one that you didn't mention, I'm keeping an eye on because Stanford had that loss against Northwestern week 1. People kind of forgot about them. But Stanford-USC is always a great game, especially over the last handful of years.
Yeah, that's here in the Coliseum here in Los Angeles on Saturday. We had David Shaw on the show earlier, just yesterday, as a matter of, or 2 days ago, as a matter of fact. They all blend together when you're in the middle of the football season. But it seems to me that what happened the first two games, that many people believe they're not equipped to even touch USC on Saturday. What do you say about that?
Well,
Daniel?
look, those are always close games. It doesn't matter where the personnel lies. I watched both of them on tape this week, and Stanford defensively maybe not as stout. I mean, you've got two guys that are starting for the Colts as rookies on the defensive line. You lose Perry and you lose Henry Anderson. That's a lot to overcome. But offensively, I think they looked a lot better last week against Central Florida. I think they're going to have to score points because USC, I think, is going to be able to move the ball pretty well against their defense. So it's going to come down to Kevin Hogan, who is one of the more inconsistent guys. When he's good, he can be really good. But then he's had some ugly moments like he did against Northwestern. So I think it's going to be all on Stanford's offense trying to keep pace in this one.
Well, what do you think Coach Kelly's doing with the quarterback situation there in Notre Dame, getting set for Georgia Tech and their program coming in? What's going on there with the loss of Zaire in your mind, Daniel?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, I'll tell you what, though, they have really what should have been their third quarterback because Golson transfers. But you put in what should be your third-string quarterback. He didn't look too bad against Virginia. He is a big, strong kid who can push the ball down the field. You're going to lose some of the quarterback run option stuff that they've had with Zaire, so it's going to be a different look on offense. But, Rich, when you play against Georgia Tech, it's going to be all about the other side of the ball, and you've got to be able to get off the field because Georgia Tech, you look up and they'll have one of those 8 or 9 minute drives, and your offense isn't even getting on the football field. So that's going to be a big challenge for them. And Notre Dame has, they have a lot of talent on defense, a lot of athletes. But when you play against that scheme, it is so much about alignment and assignment and making sure your eyes are in the right place. Or next thing you know, you got Georgia Tech coming out the back door for a big game. It's going to be a fascinating matchup.
Before I let you go, sir, one Jonathan Manziel will be starting for the Cleveland Browns against Marcus Mariota after Mariota's debut last week. And I have been saying that this is it for Johnny in Cleveland. By that, I mean this. Sure, he might get an opportunity later on, but right now, due to injury, he has an opportunity to grab the reins, and there's another guy across the field who looks so polished coming off of the collegiate gridiron in just one game, fellow Heisman Trophy winner, drafted where Johnny Manziel hoped to have been drafted second overall, that this is the moment that Manziel can say, I am the professional that everybody in Cleveland hopes that I can be. What do you say, Daniel, about that?
Well, I think you're right in terms of his time in Cleveland. The only thing I would caution, obviously, Manziel has not proven he can play consistently well. But when you look at this team, Rich, and I don't want to insult anybody, but Travis Benjamin, Gary Barnidge, Andrew Hawkins, Brian Hartline, Taylor Gabriel, I don't know how many guys you have out there that are going to make your quarterback look better than he is. So whatever he does in this game, he's going to have to do it himself, and I just don't know if he's ready to do that.
So hold on a minute while I pick up the Titans defense in fantasy. Hold on a moment. I just heard that. I heard it go 3-2 on click. I have done so. And I'd love to get your thoughts on the poll question. RichEisenshow.com. Chris Brockman, ask it of Daniel Jeremiah, please.
Yeah, what's up, DJ? Who should be in control of the Broncos offense? Gary Kubiak, the head coach, or Peyton Manning, the future Hall of Famer?
It's Peyton Manning, and I can't. It's not even close, is it?
It's not even close. You're right. 92%.
Yeah, he's basically Kubiak is Mondale and McGovern combined right now.
Did he get a state? Did he get one state?
I don't believe he might. Did he get? He did not get the state of Colorado. That's for sure.
No.
Minnesota, maybe not even Minnesota. I don't even know.
Hey, is Stone Street still coming in, Rich, or did he cancel on you?
He did not cancel. Okay. Oh no, he's coming. He's a diehard man. He knows the pains and the aches and what it means to root for a team and still love him.
His Andy Reid impression is top shelf.
It is, but he's not. That's why he wins Emmys. That's why he wins Emmys. So, but I might have to give him a hug when I see him, but it's a tough love that the Chiefs show him every now and then.
Ask him if he can throw the ball more than 20 yards down the field.
I will, man, because it's got to drive you crazy. It's got to drive you crazy if you choose
putt. I mean, let's get out on a real golf course and take out the driver now, guys.
What's on the Move the Sticks podcast this week? DJ?
Previewing all the matchups for this weekend, good, bad, ugly. Talking a little bit about what to expect in that big Patriots-Bills game with Bucky Brooks. So a lot of fun.
I look forward to it. Download it right now at Move the Sticks on Twitter. DJ, thanks again for calling in, bud.
Thanks, Rich.
You bet. That's Daniel Jeremiah, here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.